Paul George has a history of not showing up, according to Evan Turner. He thinks that George and Embiid would be a soft tandem. We'll talk about that and more next on Locked On 76ers.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Game off. We got to talk more about Monopoly Go. The fast-paced games lets you team up with friends for tournaments to unlock awesome prizes like unique stickers for trading, cool playing pieces, and hilarious emojis for taunting your friends. So download Monopoly Go, now free for Google Play on the App Store. Game on. Hello, I'm Keith Pompey, along with my right-hand man, John Mitchell. We are the co-hosts of Locked On 76ers. We got a lot to talk about today. And as you saw earlier, you listened to earlier, we talked about Paul George. So we're going to talk about that. But we're also going to talk about Bronny James. Should the Sixers draft Bronny James as a way to lure his father, LeBron James, to Philly? And lastly, we're going about the debate here. Is, I hate to say it.
It hurts.
It hurts. The conversation that we're about to have in the last segment, sit down now, is Jalen Brunson better than Allen Iverson?
Dun, dun, dun.
I think we disagree on this one, bro. But we're going to talk about it. So we got a lot to talk about. Now, Mitch, first segment, Evan Turner went in.
He did.
And when he said that my man has a history of not showing up. Now, he said that Embiid and Paul George would be the best tandem, like he said, like Kobe and Shaq, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he also said Embiid and that tandem would be soft.
Yeah.
Now, what's your thoughts on that, bro? What's your thoughts on that?
I'm glad to hear Evan making contributions, man. And I covered Evan, a guy who was in a bad situation, a guy who never lived up to his billing, who some could say, well, people realized that he just didn't have the skill set that people thought he had when the Sixers took him as high as they did. But, I mean, let's be quite honest. As much as we like Joel Embiid, as much as we marvel at his game, he does have a propensity, although he didn't do it this year, playing on one leg. He does have a propensity to wither in the postseason. And I think when he says soft, the door is open. I mean, physically, Joel's soft. Joel's missed close to 350 games since he was drafted. So physically, the body is soft until Joel's body proves and his health proves to be otherwise. Another thing is I think he's looking at Joel and saying, I don't see the killer instinct I need to see in a big man. His game is a complete opposite of Shaquille O'Neal's. And Paul George is not in the same stratosphere as Kobe Bryant. But, Paul George, Evan said that, in locker rooms, the feeling is that Paul George is like a guy who says, okay, well, whichever way the wind blows, I'm not going to be the stern director of this team. And what's interesting now is that Paul George is the guy who's on the menu in Philadelphia. Paul George is the guy, one of those guys that the great mad scientist, Daryl Morey has his eye on. Now, of course, some things have to transpire in order for that to come true. But soft, Man, if you're talking about that duo being soft before it even comes together, and it's an NBA player like Evan Turner or not, he's a guy who talks to NBA players on a regular. He's a former NBA player. He's got that NBA pension waiting on him. So that has to raise questions, and I like Paul George's game, but soft is that's always been the taboo word in the NBA. I never forget one time I asked Rod Strickland about, this is ancient, about the Wizards being soft, and I thought he was going to go ape on me, man. Soft. Don't call him anything but soft. Don't call NBA players soft.
Well, the thing is that gets me is when he says he has a history of not showing up.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's a huge character assassination. And the way he said it, it was basically like, yo, this would be matter of fact. Like the guy just doesn't show up. He said it too freely.
Yeah.
Right? He said, I never met a human being that will let a media rumor drive his energy or personality. Right? You know how soft that team's going to be if he and Embiid get together. Right? So to me, like, it's just crazy. Ever since the word came out that the Sixers are going to go after him, it's been a lot of people attacking it. Like, it's like to a point where the Sixers can't win if they get him. And the thing is, the problem is when you look at both guys, I don't think Embiid's soft. I think he's injury prone.
Yes.
I think that, if he was soft, he wouldn't have been delivering those cheap shots that he was doing in the
and I like that
series, right?
And I like that.
Yeah, so he gets a reputation. People call him soft, but he's actually borderline dirty dude when they play, right? At times he gets away with a little bit of things. But the thing is, though, both of these guys they'll have a history of underachieving in the postseason. Whether it's for Embiid history or just Paul George with a moment just being too big.
Yeah.
So when you say that, I don't know, like on paper, like when you do fantasy basketball or analytics, it's all great. You look at the numbers and you look at how they fit in.
Right.
But at the same time, you're bringing someone here to win a championship. And if he has a history of not showing up, if that's what people say about him, quote unquote, say about him, I don't know, that it kind of concerns me a little bit that you think that you're going to hitch your wagon to him and Embiid when one guy stays injured and the other guy has a history of coming up short.
Yeah. You know what I mean. Yeah, well, he's never, Keith, you haven't won a championship until you've won a championship. You know what I mean? And so people are going to throw that out there. And I'm, just watching these playoffs, and the basketball has been beautiful lately. I love watching the Knicks now. I got to be quite honest about it.
Man, the Knicks, they get a lot of calls though, bro.
Oh, they get, well, listen, man.
It look like
they do.
Sixers out on that.
That's a segment for me. It's ridiculous.
I'm like, yo.
I think the refs got go New York, go shirts on underneath of that stripe, those stripes.
I hate to say it, but it looks that way though, doesn't it? Though it's like
it does.
Like you can never tell me the NBA is fixed, but Lord have mercy.
That phantom kick call was ridiculous in game one. It's absolutely ridiculous, And you can't review it, and the rules are the rules. But here's what I do say. Getting back to bringing Paul, the soft, the Cottonelle Charmin, please don't squeeze the 76ers that Evan Turner says they will become. Quite honestly, the Sixers with a gimpy Joel Embiid, played there was 1 point separated. I think it was 650 to 649. I think if you have Paul George on that roster, along with Tyrese Maxey, that series goes 5-6 games. Even with the extreme rebounding advantage that the Knicks has. So, that's what the offseason is about for teams who are getting ready to go on vacation or who are on vacation. It's about speculation. But you have to pay attention to what Evan said, because Evan lived in a locker room. He lived the NBA life, for double-digit seasons. So, you have to give consideration to what he's saying. I'm just not necessarily ready to say that he is they would be soft, but I can't just dismiss it right now. And another thing I can't dismiss is I can't dismiss conversation that possibly, drafting Bronny might be the answer for the 76ers to lure LeBron James here. That's something we'll talk about in our next segment. Right now, I wanted to talk to you about something I've been doing. I've been using Yahoo Finance, our sponsor today, for quite some time. So wouldn't it be great if you could see all of your investment and retirement accounts in one place? Don't have to go searching for it. Just click and you're there. With Yahoo Finance, you can consolidate your views from multiple accounts into one hub and access the expert analysis you need to tend to your entire portfolio with confidence. Now, I've got an investment account with Schwab and a 401k with Fidelity, and I've been using Yahoo Finance to consolidate them in one place, which has made it incredibly easy to manage. So let's go straight to the point. You want to grow your portfolio to deal with the rising cost of inflation, to pay off your debt or your mortgage, pretty much anything standing in the way of you and financial freedom. Am I right or am I wrong? I know I'm right. So with Yahoo Finance, you can get access to the news, data, and tools that you need in order to help reach that financial freedom that we're all striving for. So for more than 25 years, Yahoo Finance has been the brand every great investor has used. So for comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor, yahoofinance.com, the number one financial destination, yahoofinance.com. That's yahoofinance.com.
So here's the thing, man. Bronny James, right? So right now the Sixers have the 16th pick of the draft, and then they have the 41st pick of the draft. Mm-hmm. Now, LeBron James, you look at LeBron James, I know he's about to be 40, whatever, 39. What is he, 39 now?
Yeah.
About to, 40. He's going to be an old head. But some people think that he might be the best fit for the 76ers just because he can handle the ball. He doesn't have to be the man. Mm-hmm. He's also part of Clutch Sports, which represents Nick Nurse, which represents Tyrese Maxey. And he's also a guy who Joel Embiid would respect. And he would come in here and he would just make everything so much better.
Yeah.
So the question is, if you're the 76ers, even though he's older, he would, he's a winner. So the question is, would you draft Bronny James? The Sixers got the 16th pick, right outside the lottery. Mm-hmm. And they also have the 41st pick. Now, the question is, you might mess around and he might not be there at 41. So that means you would have to maybe trade back or draft him at 16.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, would you do it to get LeBron?
I'd do it in a heartbeat. Keith, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I've been kind of out. I mean, the Sixers are looking at older players. They're looking at Paul George. They're looking at Jimmy Butler. Why not look at a guy who is at 39 is still better than both of those guys. And it's not, although he's not LeBron James at 30, he's not the LeBron James at 28. But man, I mean, LeBron made 71 starts last year, averaged 35 minutes per game. It's a lot of work for a guy his age. Averaged 26 points, grabbed 7.3 boards, and handed out 8.3 assists. So what does that mean? LeBron, when you watch him, he's so effective when he's a guy who's on the ball. And if he's on the ball with Joel Embiid, you know, and Tyrese Maxey, you can go back and forth from Maxey to LeBron on the ball. And one thing I think you'll also see, finally, at long last, if you have LeBron on the point, you have a guy who will direct Joel Embiid into the post, the real post, not the high post. You have a guy who will play some high post, ball with him, but you have a guy who's going to say, "Hey, look, we need you at the rim. We got enough guys floating around out here on the perimeter. You can go down there and do your thing." I know he's 39 years old. I know he's the buzz that almost automatically gets them takes that new arena and hammers it home, because the buzz around the Sixers will be beyond phenomenal. So from a financial standpoint, that's where it resonates. LeBron I'm watching LeBron, and he still is just an incredible player, man. Jimmy Butler is clutch, but Jimmy Butler's got too much of that diva shit with him right now, man. He brings a lot of that diva stuff with him. I don't see that in LeBron. None of us see that in LeBron. I mean, some people don't like him. I think you should get over it. I remember when people didn't like LeBron because he took his talents to South Beach. Well, he created an incredible legacy at South Beach. And what the hell did anybody care about him? We're in Philadelphia. Why would you give a damn about him going to South Beach? So, yeah, I'm all in favor of that, man. Nobody the Sixers can draft at 16 at number 1 this year is going to give you what you're going to get out of the next LeBron for at least 2 years. And I mean, that's the caveat. How long do you have it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true. And the funny part is, though, I'm looking it up and I'm trying to see it. And some people don't think he's going to get drafted like this year. Like they say he could be a second round pick.
I don't see anything that would indicate where he's not LeBron's boy that he would be drafted.
Yeah, like it's saying he's not a they say he's probably a second round pick, but he could be a first round pick next year. But the thing is, when you look at his stats, right? He played in 25 games with 6 starts. He averaged 19.3 minutes. He only shot 36.6% from the field, 26.7% from 3. He only made 67.6% of his free throws. He averaged 4.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 2.1 assists, right? So, it's weird. Like, if you do that, you going all in, like all in for hoping that y'all can win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
It's to me, I don't know. I don't know if I would draft him with 16, because my thing is, it's high risk, high reward, I guess. Like in regards to getting LeBron, but if you don't win the chip, then it's like, yo, we done mortgaged the future. You better hope the boy run. Yeah, and you know what I mean. So, I don't know. A lot of people are saying that. But here's the thing: if LeBron is that much of a commodity, why aren't some other? I mean, I'm pretty sure some other teams are going to try to figure out a way to get him too.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the thing. But again, I think that it will be a good fit for the Sixers if they could get him. More so than anybody else. Like, I don't think the Jimmy Butler thing's going to happen at all. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
That ain't happening.
That extension, because that's going to be part of the trade, or can we?
I don't see that happening at all. But I don't know. Man. I'm on the fence about this one, bro. Like, I'm not really on. I mean, I like LeBron, but I don't know if. I mean, here's again. Like, they're either going to trade the draft pick or they're going to do something else. So who knows? But you got to hope and pray that the guy does well. You got to hope.
If LeBron, I really do think LeBron's risen to the point, and I'll take him on his word. I think he wants to play with his son. What's he got left to prove in the NBA? Another championship a championship at 40 and being the top 3 player. And LeBron comes in here, he's number 2 player at the least. Tyrese Maxey becomes more of an ancillary role if LeBron comes here, But I mean, I think sometimes let's go into the time machine, man. This is an organization that's used first round picks on people like Leo Routens. This is Sean Bradley. I hope Sean Bradley. I know I'm going back in the time machine. Mark McNamara. I mean, there have been some absolute, positively, unequivocally, super duper duds that they have drafted in the first round, man. So if burning a pick, which they have done before, when there has been intentionality associated with that pick, you know what? If you can get LeBron, and then, of course, that's going to, let's see what Joel can do as far as recruiting over the summer at the Olympics when they're in beautiful Paris.
Yeah, I think if they do that, that's probably going to have to be made. The decision going to have to be made before that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Before that, because by that point the draft will already be gone. Like over.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's,
you know what I mean.
So, I'm putting the cart before the horse again.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll definitely see.
But listen, that's something. When we get back, let's talk about this issue. It's not really an issue. It's just something. It's good conversation. The way Jalen Brunson is playing is the New York Knicks going to have a better career? And this is blasphemous around these parts than AI. We'll talk about that more. But right now, I want to talk about Monopoly Go. All right, game off. We got to pause here to talk more about Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying. Flag on the play. You already talked about that. But there's just so much good stuff in this game. Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for time tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock. And there's so much to get. You can get unique stickers. You can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes. Cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with. Hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. There's a ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. And there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench and go download it now free on Monopoly on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. Do it when, Keith?
Today, people. Definitely do it today.
Do it.
So here's the deal, Mitch. Man, you know what? I don't even believe we're having this argument. You know what I mean? I'm not argument, but bringing it up. I'm saying no, he's not better than AI. Like, the thing is, we look at him, and I get it. It's a great story. It's a lot of excitement. It is what it is. But you gotta give a now. Allen Iverson wasn't exactly an elite. His shooting percentage wasn't exactly elite. He did a lot. He shot a lot of things. I mean, shot the ball a lot, just like Brunson does. But it was a different time, dude. It was kind of like now it's easier for you to get in there. Like, Brunson, like back in the day, and AI said it when he had his statue. He was like, look, I always knew I could get past the first man, but it was the second guy, like Shaq and them. Now you look at this, as good as what's the center for the Indiana Pacers or Joel, like as good as these guys are, like elite rim protectors.
Yeah,
man, these dudes is out in the perimeter, man. Like they doing different things. So Brunson is like driving the lane, getting easy. He ain't getting. I mean, he got knocked to the ground a couple of times.
Yeah,
but not like how AI was. You know what I mean? It's different, man. I feel like, don't get me wrong, he's good, but is he better than Ant-Man?
No.
Is he better than Shea Gilgeous-Alexander?
Yeah, but Keith,
you think he better than Shea?
No, I don't. I don't. I think I mean, you know, Wonder Woman has her lasso around me, and I'm telling the truth, man. You know, he's a nice story, and one thing I do like about him, and you know, when I look at him, you know, to the fans of The Wire, he looks like Prop Joe from The Wire. You know, so that's that's my favorite show all time. One of the few shows I would ever binge again. Um, but man, he's averaging 35 points per game. He's doing it in the Mecca, where they haven't won a basketball championship in 51 years. And it's funny, you know, when I was at Game 6, there were some fans from New York. Well, there were some fans, and they were saying, you know, FMB. And this one guy started this one chant, 51 years, and you should have seen the looks on the New York boys' faces and their ladies, if those were indeed ladies they brought with them.
Why they
But
look that bad, man? They look that bad.
oh man, there was some toothless, haggard ladies in that posse, man. But I mean, what I like about Brunson, number one, I love seeing him and his father together on the Knicks bench. You know,
Yeah, but they ain't got nothing to do with that. Look, is he better than AI?
No, he's not better than AI. He you know, he has the, you know, I think it had had Steph Curry not completely tainted the game with 3-point shooting abilities that nobody else is capable of, and forcing the entire league to morph into a 3-point shooting league. You know, I think had that happened prior, AI's 3-point percentage would have gone up. I think certain great players could adapt to anything. The change, you know, would have worked on anything, and AI is certainly one of those guys. You know, that being said, you know, he is a better distributor of the basketball, but then again, AI was sure too. You know, although he was generously listed as 6 feet, 6'1", AI was the smallest great two guard in the history of the league. Nobody's calling Brunson, you know, the greatest point guard in the league, but he is. I tell you what, man, you know, if you were to take the top 3 players in this current league in the playoffs, obviously number one, I don't think there's any doubt, man. Ant-Man right now. You know, you Ant-Man, you have SGA, and then Brunson. You know, they're taking Joker, who was the MVP, and that voting was a joke by my former colleagues. Y'all did pretty bad with that one. I'm not saying
You know, listen, I voted for the Joker. You want to know why?
You've been indoctrinated, bruh.
Nah,
You've been indoctrinated.
Nah. Actually, I was going to vote for Shea.
Why did Ant-Man fall so low among?
I mean, you know, he's good, but like, you know, at that time, it was kind of like, I mean, I don't know. I was going to vote for Shea, and then I voted for the Joker. And the reason why I voted for the Joker is because it came down to when Shea got hurt. That's why I didn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
You take the Joker off of that team, and them dudes is like throwing heating pads at the refs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why that's why he got it. And the thing is, you know, Ant-Man is the guy and pretty good, but it was hard at one point. It's hard to tell whose team it was. I mean, was it his earlier? Was it Karl Anthony Towns? Now we see it. See, here's the thing. I think that, to be honest with you, I think these awards come out a little bit too late. Like, I think they need to come out. I think they need to come out you vote, because we voted this year. You like before, you know how they give you a couple weeks or whatever, a week. Yeah. Nah, dude, you got an email like on a Monday. You had to have that thing in by like 6 o'clock that Tuesday. So I feel like you got to have them things coming out, because right now you're looking at it and people are going to say, well, why didn't you vote for Ant-Man? Why didn't you vote for Shea? Right. But then you look at what Jokic did. I mean, Jokic damn near averaged a triple-double this season. He was balling.
Jokic is so good, and let's be quite honest, Jokic is so good that, you know, his greatness is, you start to get bored by it. You know, the fact that he won it, I don't have a beef with it. You know, I'm not going to go into the fact that, you know, he's a white European guy. I don't look at the game like that. You know, if you give him that award, you can't really argue with it. When I look at the results, I just couldn't understand why Ant-Man was not among the top go-getters. But
Yeah.
getting back, we've tarried away from our Allen Iverson Brunson conversation. Brunson is emerging. He's 27 years old. Let's see what he does. Let's see him win a championship. Again, the Knicks have been in the wilderness longer than the Hebrews in the Bible. So let's see him lead them out of the
My question to you is right now, is Jalen Brunson a Hall of Famer?
No.
Okay, then end the question. End the story.
No.
End the story. It's over.
You know what?
It's over. It's over.
You needed 10 seconds to win that argument, and you won it.
Huh?
You needed 10 seconds to win that argument.
That's it. He ain't a Hall of Famer. I mean, AI was the truth, man. AI was the dude. AI was the man since high school. Right now, I don't know. Brunson is a good player, a quality player, but AI was AI, dog. Come on, man. If AI was a prime AI on that team, they would have been the number one seed with all those rough dudes. Because to be honest with you, no offense to the Sixers, but they got more skilled guys than, let's just say, okay, so I know they're hurt now, but OG seemed to be a little bit better than what people want. Dante DiVincenzo has grit, but he can also knock down a three.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Hart is just like a smaller Dennis Rodman, right? And then just say if Julius Randle wasn't hurt, right? Then you got see the problem with them, they banged up. But then you got Bogdanovic who can shoot. I mean, dude, if you had AI with that squad, come on, man. Come on. It was him, Mutombo, and Aaron McKee.
Yeah.
That was the squad, dog.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. You know what I mean? So this squad, come on, bro. They got some players. We just don't. I mean, they role players, but they got players.
And Keith, you know as well as I do. I don't know fans follow. There's an expiration on Tibbs. He grinds his players down. The bench is so super duper short. We saw it in Chicago. We saw it in Minnesota. He's a great coach, and I like the old school defense, but he burns guys out, man. And
they getting banged up now. My man, coming off the court with a hamstring injury. Yeah. So, they. And then Brunson talking about he don't even know if he's gonna play. You gonna be ready for the next game? I hope so.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Man up. Bro, yeah.
You said man up.
AI wins that.
AI wins that in the heartbeat.
Yeah.
But look, y'all, we want to thank y'all for listening. And we want to make sure y'all have a blessed day, a great day. But before we go, I want to talk to y'all about the Locked On's national streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channel app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On Plus, our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channel apps. So, the crazy part, Brunson is going to have such a phenomenal year. He might not even make all NBA.
Yeah.
Just because people look at other guards,
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? But look, we like to thank y'all for listening, and we want to hope that y'all have a blessed day and the rest of a blessed week. Peace.
Peace, y'all.